Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel where we're going to be having a bit of fun with the LATVAA from Delta Force alongside the Wildcat from Battlefield 2042. Now, I decided to put these vehicles side by side because there's actually quite a lot of difference between them, even though on the surface they appear to be very similar. And particularly any Battlefielders on console who are waiting to get involved when they get the opportunity, you may come into the game like I did, with the Wildcat being your foundational reference point and finding it works very differently. But anyway, whilst this Nightbird flight plays out, let me introduce the structure of the video and how I'm going to go about it. In part 1, I want to introduce the 101 of Delta Force's LATVAA as told to the eyes of a Battlefielder. Now, as with the main battle tanks, it's 90% the same between the two games, but that 10% can actually make quite a difference, so it's worth running through. Incidentally, if you're watching this video and you're not familiar with the Battlefield Wildcat, I have actually done a video outlining the theory behind it. It's a bit old, but it still completely stands up. So to try to keep this video to a reasonable length, I'm not going to run through what I consider to be old ground. And in part 2, once I've gone through the Delta Force theory, I'm going to let the camera roll on some honest LATVAA gameplay, and hopefully, having explained everything in part 1, it'll make a lot more sense for those not familiar with the game. That's the intention, at least. And then finally, in part 3, I'd love to show you some Wildcat gameplay with the guys. We have some great commentary. But also, the reason for doing this is I'd like to round up by asking a question. Is the LATVAA in Delta Force overpowered or not? Because when you look at it side by side against the Wildcat, it's not so clear it is. Anyway, let's get into it. Right, from one Battlefielder to another or someone coming into the game, what must you know about the LATVAA and Delta Force? Now, many of you might think the logical place to start is to talk about the primary cannons, the 20 versus the 30mm, or in the case of Battlefield, the 35mm, same difference. But no, actually, the most important thing to tell you is that, first of all, there is no anti-tank missile for LATVAA and Delta Force, and there is no APS. This means you have to stay away from the front line, which is very different from Battlefield. Because if any armored vehicle finds you, you're done. Back to the AA missiles, because we have to have them, they lock on within a distance of 500 meters, and one hit combined with a little bit of damage from either the 20 or the 30mm is enough to see off a Nightbird. Equally, 2 direct hits on the heavily armored Apache, it's done.
Allied forces are attacking objective Charlie 3.
If the helicopter is not looking at you and engaging you, I recommend you open up with the AA missile, force it to flare, switch over to your primary cannon, whichever one you took, we'll talk more about that in a moment, and then when the cooldown has expired on their flares, switch back to the AA missile and finish them off.
Artillery barrage incoming.
The last thing I would just say about this for the moment, about the AA missiles, is if you find yourself in a one-on-one duel against an attack helicopter, do not open up with your AA missiles. You don't have time to sit there for 2.5 seconds staring at it, especially since you don't have APS to soak up any of the incoming shots. AA missiles are only useful if you're not in a head-to-head fight. The next thing to know is as long as you have line of sight to your target, there is almost no distance limit on any cannon. Watch my health bar melt as a LATV that's a mile away zeroed me and picked me off. What this means is that the traditional ways that a battlefield pilot will try to evade you by going all the way to the height ceiling on the map, or just withdrawing far enough to get out of the range of your guns, simply does not work in Delta Force. So as long as you can see the helicopter, whichever gun you've got, keep shooting, because you will hit them as long as you're on target. Being blunt, in the early days I got caught out a lot by this, and I'm still seeing a lot of players get caught out by it, so now you know. The other thing, as I'm sure many of you have figured out, is that camping, particularly spawn camping, is sadly a very viable strategy in Delta Force. In Battlefield, you just can't do that. Yeah, you've got a range on your guns, but the bullet drop-off basically means that you're not going to get any kills if you sit in your spawn. Now in Delta Force, I still recommend you move to the mid-ground to increase the chances of getting your kill, but take a look at this target here. It's 1 kilometer away, and I'm still laser beam accurate against it. But now comes the really scary part. Whilst the 20mm is actually a little bit better at having the accuracy, like you can really be quite precise and pick off a target, the 30mm 35 in Battlefield is also borderline laser accurate. There's almost no projectile drop off. So as far as I'm concerned, it's an absolute no regret move to switch over to the 30mm as soon as you've unlocked it.
The enemy is attacking objective Delta.
But yeah, bottom line message, never be afraid to stand your ground.
The enemy has taken objective.
When you think about Battlefield, it's a very different experience, isn't it? For example, a jet with hydropods can very quickly do a fast strike and completely wipe out a Wildcat. But the Wildcats have APS, so joke's on you if you try to take me head on and I see you. So that covers off the two cannons in terms of going after aerial targets, but there's another reason why you should really have the 30mm on you, and that's because of the ground game. Now remember the first point we mentioned here, there is no anti-tank missile on the LATVAA. This is your only chance of taking down another vehicle. And frankly, when you combine this with not having APS, unless you get the drop on a severely weakened vehicle, or another LATV that doesn't have the 30mm and is only running the 20mm, you're basically screwed. Now what you're seeing here are two LATVAAs getting into a long distance fight. I've got the 30mm and you can hear from the high frequency of the pings this person's packing a 20mm. So other things being equal, I've got the advantage in this fight, although of course given the length it's going to go on for, there's plenty of opportunity for an intervention in either side's favour. So yeah, this is very, very different from Battlefield, where in this situation I would usually pop up my AT missiles and go start a fight. I frankly wouldn't even be scared of a main battle tank, providing I had APS equipped as well. But as it stands in Delta Force, it's a long distance slapping fight, and if you've got the heavier slap, you win.
In objective Bravo has been eliminated.
If you come up against something more formidable, like a tank hunter, I strongly recommend you do not get into a fight with it, unless you can see that it's severely wounded. In a straight up fight, you're going to lose miserably, particularly if they've got the 90mm howitzer equipped. So make sure you take a look before you draw attention to yourself and start shooting it.
Is under attack. The enemy has secured.
Now, if you're running the 20mm, either because you prefer it or you've just started and you haven't unlocked the 30 yet, yeah, of course you can take out a vehicle. But it just takes that much longer, it's that much more difficult, and there's that much more probability that you're going to lose. Quick word of caution though, LATVAAs and IFVs look nearly identical in Delta Force, so do just quickly check before you open up on someone that they're not actually an anti-vehicle hunter, unless you want to end up like this. Not gonna lie, been caught out more than once by that. Right, this now brings us on to infantry, and as you're going to see in this section, be it the 20mm like you're seeing now, or the 30mm in just a moment, both are absolutely brilliant at deleting infantry players with laser pinpoint accuracy. Very different from the Battlefield experience when you're in a Wildcat. But that's not actually the most important thing I've got to tell you here, guys. Maybe I'll do a separate video on this, we'll see. But if you're playing ranked with the intention of getting up to General and Marshal, the way advancement works is on points per minute. If you just sit in your spawn going after helicopters, you are not going to generate a high enough PPM score to be able to advance. So if you are going to take the LATVAA role, it's essential that you come down off your mountain, push objectives, and try to take out infantry. Now, it burns my soul a little bit to say this, but I strongly recommend you don't actually drive onto the objective in a LATVAA unless you really do feel like you've got the upper hand. You're better off just staying on the periphery of it, firing in, taking out infantry where you can, but always have your eye on the escape route if the rockets start flying or anything like that. If you find after you thinned out their numbers it's looking safe, by all means move on to the objective, because you do get an awful lot of points in Delta Force for capturing, which is very helpful when you're trying to rank up.
Operational goal. We're leading the charge.
And this neatly brings me to the last point I want to make, and that's about Operator Viron, Wang Yuhao I think his name is, and what an absolute pain in the arse he is. Once you get a little bit of success, as night follows day, you are going to get the attention of a bunch of these players who are going to load themselves on a quad bike and try to rush you down for a suicide attack.
Charlie 3.
Guided missile ready.
Just like that. Do your best, but it's impossible to always see them coming. In fairness, it's exactly the same in Battlefield 2042. Hands up everybody here who's gone on a revenge mission against a Wildcat that shot them down a moment earlier. To be honest, it's actually a bit of a compliment. If somebody played so well that it pushed another player to go on a revenge mission, you clearly did your job right. So yeah, no point getting upset about that one. Alright, I think that covers everything we need to know. Let's take a look at some honest gameplay. Let the camera roll. Spawning in, let's see what we can do with the LATVAA.
Alpha 1 has fallen into enemy hands. Objective Charlie cleared. Sector Charlie secure. The enemy has taken over objective Bravo. We've secured Sector Delta. Objective Delta is ours. Objective Bravo has been cleared. Objective Echo 2 is under attack. The enemy has taken Sector Charlie. Objective Alpha 2 is ours.
Once the helicopter hit me on the back, I knew it had passed overhead and this was my chance.
Objective Bravo has been cleared by the enemy. Objective Echo 2 is under attack. Objective Delta has been cleared by the enemy. Allied troops engaging at Objective Alpha 1.
Another thing just to note ahead of the next clip, when you hear like this tinny ping 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 sound, that means a 30mm is firing at you.
Objective Alpha 1 secure. The enemy has taken objective.
Just like that, so now I know I'm fighting against an attack helicopter. I was hoping by sticking my head out, the 30mm would give away where it is, but I wasn't able to see it. Good to kill another Nightbird, but the attack heli's still out there somewhere.
Operation. Lock in.
Remember, do not use AA missiles in a head-to-head fight. Cannon only. You don't have time.
We neutralized Objective Alpha 2.
So there's a little taste of the LATVAA in action, also all the clips we've seen in part 1. So now let's take a look at the Wildcat, where I'm going to be playing with the lads. We've got some good commentary, so I'll be quiet and I'll pick up at the end.
Oh, nice! AOD Melodious.
To pick him up.
Engineers hiding behind the snow ridge, I think. Jesus, that got up here quickly. MBT next that you want?
Their Wildcat is sitting on the bridge.
180 missile hit, going for a second.
Should we go and harass it, Dada?
I'm gonna go chase the tank.
Oh, was that me?
You
Sorry.
you guys got me?
So-
Got a hit, just trying to finish it off. Yes, tank down.
Ooh, ooh. Oh, it did explode. Okay.
Yep, the
Yep,
ram's just
enemy
coming
ram.
down.
Ram?
Yep.
Where?
Just coming down onto the ice.
I can't see it anywhere, but I'll follow you guys.
One hit.
Majority of sectors under enemy.
There he is. Oh crap, the missile hit the bridge above. Idiot.
Second hit.
Yeah, I'm pushing. I'm going for it. Ah, bloody snowbound. Come on.
He's staying still.
Yeah, locking in. Got it.
Brawlers on Delta.
Hang on, just turning this thing around. So, Delta, do you want to jump in? Do you want to ride?
Yes, please.
Yeah, there's a Wildcat that way.
There's a attack chopper above you.
Alright, so look at
Wildcat
the
to our right.
Wildcat and attack heli. Oh shit, was that a tug?
We're taking hits from the chopper.
Looking for him.
He's chasing.
APS up.
Oh, he's got tow missiles.
Yeah, no worries, we got APS. Lovely.
Nice, 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 nice. Let me hop in.
Our forces have taken more sectors than the enemy. This is how we do
Delta.
Yeah. Is
He's
that
just
cab on
behind
the
the
far
objective.
side?
Yep. On our left, on the flag. Is that him that just exploded?
Yeah. Nope. One hit.
Lovely, got him.
Ah, such a slow switch.
Hang on, there's more infantry out there behind the smoke.
Yeah, hanging back.
For some reason, someone Draugr above us.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Beautiful. He's getting tailed by 2 jets too.
To our right. On the,
Oh, yeah.
on the map.
let's see if he's configured for a ground
It's
fight.
a cat. The little kitty cat. It's a
He's
dead
gone.
cat.
Certainly not a Schrodinger cat.
Okay, we need to cap that objective. Chopper next to us, sniper.
Majority of sectors.
Chasing it because it deserves to die.
He's on the cliff.
Yeah, he's gone up cliff.
Jet coming though. Fortunate timing.
Beautiful. Both choppers are above Alpha.
Alright, let's start heading over.
There's a Mav underneath Charlie. Actually, it might be on top. I can't tell.
There's, to your left is a Wildcat. Other side of here.
Oh yeah? Alright, let's go.
He's
No,
close.
there's a Wildcat on the left of here as well. Yeah, kill
Let's see if he's
over.
got
Oh yeah, right
there.
here. I don't know why I shot at him.
Nope.
Probably could have snuck up on him.
Good shot, thanks for that.
Nice.
It's time to push up.
Mav ahead of us. Just behind objective. He's going to the
To our
left.
left.
That Kelly just popped up. Let's pull back a little bit too far forward, do you think?
Okay, there's an
Can we
MBT
go after
behind
the Mav?
Alpha,
Okay,
going to
definitely.
Alpha 2.
Then help
Yeah,
you.
that works with the recon. Yep. The...
You get it?
Not yet.
Nope.
Oh, you got it. Nice one. Crawford engineer. A couple Irish sentries. Not sure that's about, but
Oh, you can't shoot through it. Oh, okay, fine.
Drago's having a go. It's down. See an attack heavy in the distance. Let's go charge down.
One of our objectives has been lost.
Wildcat is right next to us, above the road, on the right.
looking. Where?
Attack heli's coming straight towards us.
Sector Charlie in enemy hands.
Alright,
Attack
there
heli's coming right above us.
he is. Looking. Oh yeah, I see him. APS going up. Oh sweet, we got him. Was that the
I mean,
flagpole?
get on the. Ah, it's so hard to get on the back. Right.
Nicely done, Danny.
Anyway, we died shortly after that, but there's some honest Wildcat gameplay for you, particularly using the anti-tank missiles, which is going to be very important for the wrap-up I'd like to do now. And if you've made it all the way to the end, I'd really love to know what you think about this. Is the LATVAA from Delta Force overpowered? Well, from the anti-air gameplay point of view, I would say yes. Having the cannons, be they the 20 or the 30mm, that have next to no projectile drop-off, no damage drop-off, and can beam you across the map, is not good. I very much hold to what I said in the first Delta Force video I did back in December, and then the Apache update I did after they made a couple of changes to the flight controls, that if you have a determined LATVAA going for you, there is nothing you can do about it. I'm personally not a fan of such rocks, paper, scissors mechanics. But the problem with the LATVAA is it has next to no ground game, whereas if you take a look at the Wildcat in Part 3, you can see that we took out a ram, a main battle tank, and multiple Wildcats. Again, as the player, whether I'm in the LATVAA Wildcat or if I'm in a vehicle that's fighting it, I don't want to be in a rocks, paper, scissors situation. I like having a little bit of ambiguity about who's going to win the clash. Anyway, that's just my take. I think you've heard enough from me. I would genuinely love to know what you think, particularly because Battlefield 6 is on the horizon, and where do you think the balance should be? I know people give 2042 a hard time, but I actually think they've done quite a good job with the Wildcat, particularly by Season 7. But look, I'm talking again. Stop there. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care, guys. See you at the next one. Bye-bye.